Hello, I'm Christopher Bayliss from Fast Growth Services. We're here today at Intergage. What we're going to do today is two things. We're going to set the scene on why this particular workbook is so important to tripling the value, and then I'm going to share with you 3 hints. Because as you know, you're going to use this in your own company, and you have had no experience of using this particular work before. Is that correct?
No, not
okay,
yet.
so it'll make it very relevant to our viewers and readers of around the world who'll be using this going forward. Okay, why is this so important? Well, we talk about in Fast Growth, Intergage Fast Growth, tripling your company value.
Yeah.
And we have 50 workbooks to do that. In my experience and my opinion, defining and deciding your compelling business proposition is probably the most important workbook of all.
So this is absolutely central to the entire program of 50 workbooks.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm going to ask you to think about companies that have got a compelling proposition.
Okay.
Can you just do that for a moment?
Yes.
Can you think of one?
One that strikes me potentially is Domino's, the pizza people.
Yes, that is interesting. It didn't invent the product.
Right.
Because the product is pizza.
Okay.
And it certainly didn't invent the delivery system, which is home delivered pizza.
But something with which people are familiar with it everywhere, the world over.
Because we all want convenience. So this is a company that specialises in business to consumer. And the proposition that they worked out, and it is not a strapline, it was actually a proposition, is and was fresh, hot, tasty pizza.
Yes.
Delivered to your door within 30 minutes.
Yes. Yeah.
Or you don't pay. Or what they did was to position their shops or kitchens right in the middle of towns, to use a very standard menu and to employ people who could do things fast, and also delivery chaps in their cars or vans and motorbikes, so you get the pizza within 30 minutes.
Absolutely. It's all about having a compelling proposition and a great process as well. So it's highly process driven, but in the midst of all that, you don't lose the quality.
Definitely. And they started off in California, spread across the whole of the United States, and as we know in this country, they've been here for the last 20 years and done very well here and many other places. Okay.
Fantastic.
I'd like to move on to the second part of this video now, which is the 3 hints for using this particular workbook. May I just share those with you?
Thank you, please.
Because I know you'll be doing this both on yourself and also with your team in your company. So if we look together at it, it's define your compelling proposition. All the workbooks have the same format, which is a focusing page with the goal and the contents. And then the 3 things on this particular workbook that are unique and I want to emphasize is 1, how important it is creating a compelling proposition to tripling your value. You can see it there, it's absolutely fundamental.
Yeah.
As I said at the beginning of the video. Secondly, second hint is we've all got a proposition. So
and by definition, we all think it's compelling because otherwise we would not be pursuing that proposition.
Definitely. So in the workbook, I'm going to encourage everybody to draft it and then to assess it on a 10-factor scale, on a scale 1 to 10 as well. So 10 factors, 1 to 10, and to calculate your score out of 100. After this workbook, after this video, will you do that?
We will. And what would be fascinating as well is to just share it with a couple of third parties and just to say, okay, here's how we see ourselves. How do you see us?
Yep.
And for neither side to see the score so that we're not providing them with any clues. They're coming at this completely fresh, so that if there is any disconnect, we know that those are our priority areas that we have to work on first.
Fantastic. And then the second major hint, there's on page 4 of the workbook. I encourage you to think about what the problem is you're solving for your customers, be they business consumer or business to business. But finally, to think about what's the profound strategic impact It's probably the most important thing for what is the profound impact, particularly business to business, less so business to consumer. Put it all together and coming up with something you find stunning.
Fantastic.
And this work will take about an hour. You can involve your team, and by the end of it, I promise you, you'll have something that really could take this business forward.
It's ultimately it's going to be a very powerful brainstorming exercise.
Definitely.
And one that has clearly defined, codified goals that we can work to.
Good. My final point to you, Rowan, is the journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step.
Absolutely.
So call to action. When do you plan to do this? First of all, on your own with this workbook, and secondly, when do you plan to do it with your team?
Yeah, well, obviously as quickly as we can.
Yeah. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for yours.
And then look down. And don't, sorry.